to get it started.
The 24-year-old center fielder hits one on the ground to the left side, backhanded by Lindor, and he drops it, and Marcy's aboard with an infield hit.
Welcome to Baseball Extra, the channel that brings you all the most compelling moments from around the league. We're diving deep into a night where the unexpected took center stage. Get ready for some incredible plays, game-changing errors, and a dramatic home run that will have you on the edge of your seat. Stick around, because this game had it all. Tonight's matchup featured the Mets with Clay Holmes on the mound, a pitcher known for his courageous efforts all season long. He's been a workhorse, racking up over 137 innings and delivering back-to-back wins against formidable opponents like the Seattle Mariners and the Atlanta Braves. But even the best have their off nights, and early on, Holmes found himself in a tricky situation. The Marlins' 24-year-old center fielder, Edwards, led off, and while his flyout seemed routine, the next batter, Marcy, got aboard with an infield hit after a backhanded play went awry. Marcy, who came into the day with an astounding 1.029 ops, the best ever for a Marlin in their first 26 big league games, was a genuine threat. He's 8 for 10 in stolen base attempts this season, always looking to move. Then came Hicks, who banged one off Holmes, sending it dribbling into left field. Marcy, hustling all the way, advanced to third, putting runners on first and third with just one out. The Marlins were smelling blood. Up stepped August Ramirez, who slammed a sacrifice fly to right center. Mullins tracked it down and made the catch, but Marcy tagged up from third, sliding home with the game's first run. It was a beautiful piece of baseball by Ramirez, putting Miami up 1-0. Troy Johnson then bounced one off Holmes' glove, but the Mets managed to get the out at first, ending the inning. Holmes had a tough burst, looking a bit like a pincushion out there, as one commentator put it. Now, for the Marlins, the 24-year-old right-hander Adam Major was making his second start of the season, and he had his work cut out for him against the Mets. Francisco Golfs wasted no time, ripping a leadoff hit to right center, with Marcy cutting it off. Golfs, who's been on fire, hitting .431 over his last 15 games, continued his hot streak. Alonso then stepped up, and in typical fashion, launched a double into the right center field gap. Marcy made a valiant effort, running an enormous distance, but the ball just tipped off his glove. Now the Mets had runners at second and third with one out, and the Marlins were bringing their infield in, anticipating a play at the plate. Brandon Nimmo was at the plate in a crucial spot, and he delivered. He grounded one over the bag, keeping it just fair down the line. Lindor scored easily, with Alonso right behind him. Nimmo's two-run double gave the Mets a 2-1 lead. The ball had a lot of topspin, eluding the glove of Hicks, even though Nimmo broke his bat on the play. This was a classic baseball highlight. As the game moved to the top of the second, with 2 outs, the Marlins' number 8 hitter, third baseman Maximo Acosta, came to the plate. He delivered a base hit into right field, his 4th major league hit, and his first ever single. A man was on first with 2 outs, but he was left stranded as the next batter slammed one to right center, which was grabbed at the edge of the warning track, retiring the side. It was 2-1 New York at the middle of the second. The third inning started with a leadoff hit by pitch, a bit of a lapse from the Mets pitcher, Xavier. Edwards then took off, stealing second with what looked like one of the biggest jumps anyone's ever had to steal a base. Marcy followed with a productive out, moving Edwards to third. With the infield in, Liam Hicks grounded one to the right side. The Mets couldn't get Edwards at the plate, and the Marlins tied the game at 2. It was a close play, but the throw wasn't perfect. Ramirez then topped one on the ground, and a running toss got the second out, but Hicks moved up to second. Troy Johnson then had a chance to give the Marlins the lead. He grounded it to the right side, handled by Alonso, but it bounced off his glove and into foul territory. Hicks scored, standing up another error by the Mets, and the Marlins were up 3-2. These are the kinds of plays that can haunt a team, especially after an emotional series. Otto Lopez was up next with a man at second, and he ripped a 1-1 pitch into left field for a base hit. Troy Johnson came home from second, and it was a 2-out, run-scoring single for Lopez. The Marlins now led 4-2. The early error had opened the floodgates for multiple runs. Despite the runs, Major managed to get out of the inning, leaving 2 aboard. It was 4-2 Marlins after 4 innings. In the bottom of the 5th, Soto drew a walk, his 108th of the season and 10th in his last 7 games. This meant Pete Alonso was coming to the plate, representing the potential tying run. The crowd was a bit quiet, but as we know in baseball, one swing can totally change the feeling of the ballpark. And that's exactly what happened. Alonso hit one deep to center field. Back went Marcy to the track at the wall, and it's gone. His 30th home run of the season. The ballpark erupted, with everyone rising to their feet at Citi Field as the ball soared out past center fielder Jacob Marcy and into the seats. This was a 425-foot missile, a sore shot by Pete Alonso, and just like that, the Mets were back in it. A true game changer. The game was deadlocked at 4 in the top of the 6th. Marcy led off with a ground ball up the middle that sneaked into center field for a base hit, his second of the game. This guy just hits. Liam Hicks, who was 1 for 3 on the night, came up with Marcy at first. A broken back grounder down to Alonso bounced past Soto, and everyone was safe. Soto had a chance to pick it up, but missed it with his bare hand. Things were not as buttoned up for the Mets tonight, and now they had 2 on with nobody out. Agustin Ramirez then lined one just past the glove for a base hit, and it was bobbled by Marcy. The relay throw wasn't in time, and the Marlins took the lead again. The Mets were sloppy in the field tonight, and it was costing them. Another mistake as a pop ball moved runners to second and third. The infield had to come in, desperately needing a strikeout, and they got it. The pitcher fanned the batter with a slider for the first out. Lopez then broke his bat, and the ball went to McNeil for the tag play. For the second time tonight, a Marlins runner had beaten the throw by McNeil with the infield in to score a run. The Marlins were simply forcing the Mets to play defense, and they weren't doing it cleanly. Kevin Herget came in for the Mets with first and third for Miami, who now had a 6-4 lead. Roberto Hernandez stepped up and hit a fly ball to center field, not very deep. Mullins was tagging at third, Ramirez. Here came Mullins, the throw was cut off, and the sacrifice fly by Hernandez brought in the third run of the inning, making it 7-4. In the bottom of the 8th, with a man at first and 2 outs, Mullins was at the plate, 0 for 2 on the night, with a walk back in the 4th. On a 3-2 pitch, the runner went, and Mullins hit it into shallow center field. It was sinking fast, and Derek Hill made an incredible diving catch. That's the second time this season Hill has made a full-blown extension and robbed the Mets of a hit in New York. A truly spectacular defensive play. Falker came in for the save, bidding for his 20th career save tonight, and his 12th of the season. The Mets were down to their final out. Soto hit a ground ball, and Edwards was right there to grab it, ending the game. The Mets played their sloppiest game of the year, handing the Marlins 5 unearned runs, and they dropped the opener of the series 7-4, falling 5 games behind the Phillies in the National League East. What a tough night for New York, but an exciting one for baseball fans. Now that we've walked through the key moments, let's dive deeper into some of the standout performances and pivotal turning points. Clay Holmes' tough outing. While Holmes has been a courageous workhorse all season, tonight was a different story. We saw him get hit hard, particularly in the early innings. What do you think contributed to his struggles? Was it pitch selection, perhaps some fatigue after those back-to-back wins, or simply facing a hot Marlins lineup? His initial struggles to locate his pitches seemed to open the door for the Marlins, and it put the Mets' defense under immediate pressure. When a pitcher isn't sharp, even the best defenses can be exposed. We saw several instances where batted balls found holes or were misplayed, directly contributing to the Marlins' early lead. This is where pitching analytics would really come into play, diving into his velocity, spin rate, and pitch location data to see if there were any noticeable deviations from his usual performance. Jacob Marcy's offensive prowess. On the flip side, Jacob Marcy for the Marlins was simply phenomenal. That 1.029 ops in his first 26 big league games is no fluke. He's showing incredible plate discipline and power. His ability to get on base and then be a threat to steal 8 for 10 on the season keeps defenses on their toes. He had multiple hits tonight, constantly putting pressure on the Mets. His hustle on the bases and his aggressive base running are a huge asset for Miami. This is a young player that Baseball Extra will be keeping a very close eye on. He's demonstrating all the qualities of a rising star, and his ability to consistently put the ball in play and reach base is invaluable. Pete Alonso's game-changing homer. Let's talk about Pete Alonso's 30th home run. That blast was more than just 3 runs. It was a jolt of energy for a quiet crowd. It completely changed the atmosphere at Citi Field. What does that say about the power of a single swing in baseball? In a sport where momentum can shift so quickly, a home run like that can be a real emotional lift. It's a reminder that no matter how far behind a team might be, with power hitters like Alonso, they are never truly out of a game. This is what makes baseball so captivating, those sudden, explosive moments. The sheer distance of that home run, 425 feet, is a testament to his raw power. It wasn't just a fence scraper. It was a no-doubter that flew out of the park. Mets defensive lapses. We repeatedly saw the Mets defense struggle tonight. From dropped balls to missed tags and throwing errors, it was a tough outing for them in the field. How much of the Marlins' 5 unearned runs can be attributed to these defensive missteps? And what impact does that have on a pitcher's confidence, knowing his defense isn't backing him up? These kinds of games can be frustrating for players and coaches alike. It speaks to the importance of fundamental baseball, especially when a team is coming off an emotional series, as the Mets were. Sometimes, a team can be a little flat defensively after a big win or a tough loss, and it seemed to affect the Mets tonight. Every error felt magnified, leading to extra bases and crucial runs for the Marlins. This is an area where the Mets will certainly be looking to tighten things up in their next game. Marlins opportunistic play. The Marlins, on the other hand, played an incredibly opportunistic game. They capitalized on every error and every chance they got. Their base running was aggressive and smart, putting constant pressure on the Mets. Even the sacrifice flies and productive outs added up. This shows a team that is focused and ready to pounce on any mistake. It wasn't necessarily a dominant offensive display in terms of pure power, but it was incredibly effective. They manufactured runs, moved runners over, and executed fundamental baseball when it mattered most. That's a sign of good coaching and disciplined play. Derek Hill's stellar defense. We have to highlight Derek Hill's diving catch in the 8th inning to rob the Mets of a hit. That was a truly spectacular play and a huge momentum killer for New York in their final push. These are the kinds of defensive gems that can win games and turn around entire innings. His ability to cover ground and make that full extension dive was incredible. It was a highlight reel play that saved at least one run, and possibly more, for the Marlins. It's a testament to the fact that defense wins championships, and plays like that can be just as impactful as a home run. Impact on National League East race. This loss for the Mets puts them 5 games behind the Phillies in the National League East. What does this mean for their playoff hopes, and how crucial are these series openers? Losing the first game of a series, especially at home, puts a lot of pressure on a team. They'll need to bounce back quickly to avoid falling further behind. Every game at this point in the season carries significant weight, and losing unearned runs due to defensive errors makes it even tougher to swallow. The race for the division is heating up, and every slip-up can have major consequences. This is where the mental fortitude of a team really gets tested. Looking ahead, what adjustments do you think both teams will make for the rest of this series? The Mets will certainly be looking to clean up their defense and get a sharper outing from their pitching staff. The Marlins, meanwhile, will want to maintain their aggressive approach and continue to capitalize on any opportunities presented to them. This series is far from over, and we can expect some intense baseball matchups as these two teams battle it out. The beauty of a multi-game series is the chance for adjustments and redemption. That wraps up our in-depth analysis of this thrilling game. What a night of baseball action it was, full of twists and turns. If you enjoyed this detailed breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Baseball Extra for more exclusive content, game recaps, and in-depth discussions. We bring you the best of baseball all the time,